Hey guys, welcome to Potato Magic. So I'm here after a long day of pre-releases. I played in the midnight one on Friday and two on Saturday. And what you see here is my pool from the last pre-release I did, the one that my daughter also played in. This one was not my best pool. It wasn't that great. In fact, none of my pools were great. The best card I opened any of them was Glorybringer in my first pre-release. But nevertheless, my daughter and I are going to walk through how we created our pools and then play a game against each other. So the first thing I did was I pulled down what I considered big draws into a particular color. So I'm just going to go through these really quick. So for white, Dust Dawn, which I've had mixed experiences with. There seem to be some I've played it against some decks that have very small creatures, and the effect would hurt me more than it hurts my opponent. So I wasn't too high on this card. Gustwalker, which is a 2-drop that's pretty good, does fairly good things, and 2-drops don't seem to be all that great in this set. So I kind of like this a lot. And Impeccable Timing, which I know that some people don't really like a ton, but I think it's fine. Other cards in my white pool, maybe I underestimated them, included a bunch of random zombies and stuff. Nothing too super. In blue, the cards I like the best, Open to Wonder, Pull from Tomorrow, Trial of Knowledge, and Essence Scatter, which I think is very good. It's kind of like the blue removal spell. Other blue cards, I had some creatures, but nothing too good in my opinion. In black, I had Scorpion, which I think is great. Death Touch is just wonderful here against Exert creatures and green or black creatures who've lost their minds from minds for encounters and are just huge. I think it's great. Soul Stinger is a creature with kind of removal spell. Final Reward, Pitiless Vizier, which is pretty good in that you attack with it. Your opponent always has to wonder if you're going to cycle a card just to make it indestructible. It makes it very hard for your opponent to react. Gravedigger, getting back a card, always great. Cartouche of Ambition and Splendid Agony. Other cards included 3 bats, which I actually think are really good. I played them. Stir to Stance, Supernatural Stamina, Festering Mummy, Painful Lesson. Red seem okay, and there's some cards that my friends thought I overvalued, and maybe they're right, but in limited, I kind of like creatures that do something and also have a big beefy body, because I find that a lot of times you're going to play against people who don't quite realize that they're going to need creatures to just kind of have a board presence, and the bigger your creatures are, the better. So Mancorded Gauntlet, for example, I think is good. Thresher Lizard, for a 3-drop that can become a 4/4, that seems pretty good to me. Minotaur Sure Shot, it grows, it's great. And Emberhorn Minotaur, which I'm pretty high on, but maybe I've overestimated it. But, a 5/4 with Menace for 4 mana does seem pretty good to me. Other cards. You can see some other cards here. Green didn't have too much, but had big creatures, and like I said before, I really like big creatures. So Champion Ronus, first of all, Scale Behemoth, which I think is just excellent. 6/7 with hexproof. It's going to be a big wall for anyone to get through. Colossopede. Actually, you know what? This wasn't really a big draw into green. And Cartouche of Strength, the green removal spell, which is incredibly good. And multicolored, Wayward Servant, Merciless Javelineer, Charioteer, On-Crop Champion, all of these seem fine. And we also had the Shadowstorm Vizier, which I'm not high on unless you're playing, a pretty strong cycling control deck. And then 2 Barbarians for lands, 2 dual lands, great. And some artifacts, none of which I really love. So when I built this pool for my first match, I built black, red, green. Black and red, in my opinion, seemed like the deepest colors. Not the deepest colors, but maybe the beefiest colors. The problem was that they didn't really have enough creatures by themselves. The curve kind of stopped at like 4 or 5, and there didn't seem to be anything that really could any big blocker or any big creature could just knock through. So also 3 in green, and I kind of ended up in a mess of a deck that kind of had a low black curve into like a bigger green curve with a red splash. It was kind of messy. And in my first match, I lost in 3 games. Afterwards, I talked to my friends, asked for some advice, and they agreed that my pool was pretty junky, but they were of the opinion that going to junk colors was not the right way to go. That was just a little too random, and my cards didn't really work well together. And they suggested a different build, and that build is sleeves, so I'm just going to lay it out right now. The build they suggested was white-black zombies, and I'll show you the pre-decided version of this. Pulling out the other cards, and laying out the actual deck. So, creatures above, spells below. Looked something like this. Three, two. No Ketra's name. Those who serve. Sparring Mummy. Binding Mummy. Renewed Faith. Walker, Dustan, Soulbringer, Wasteland Scorpion, Final Reward, and Pitiless Vizier. And then play both my cycling lands. You know, if I draw them, they're in my colors, and if I draw it, I don't need it. I can just get a card, and then a mix of white and black lands. So this deck, I actually had considered during the build portion, and I didn't love it. It seemed like it was a little too dependent on some synergies that might not happen. So, like, if I drew, say, Gus Walker into a bat, into a Sparring Mummy, then, it seemed likely that a very aggressive deck could just run me over. And like I said before, Dustan didn't quite impress me. But my friends pointed out, for example, that, Dustan works great in a zombie deck, where a lot of my creatures have low power, and worst case, maybe I don't really board wipe, kill any creatures on the other side, but the dawn part of this spell is still very good. And they're right, and there are many games where Dustan saved me by getting rid of a board of big creatures, and it was the only card that could save me, so they were right. Some cards that I preferred include Supernatural Stamina, just because it seemed like one of the few ways I could get rid of big creatures other than Dust or Dawn. Beyond that, there's really not too much to say about this deck. The idea is you get out a bunch of zombies, hopefully like a Wayward Servant or a Binding Mummy, and then you keep playing zombies, hopefully eventually play Stir the Sands, get 3 zombies, tap down your opponent's creatures with Binding Mummy, or drain them a bunch and then just swing in. And cards like Oketra in Oketra's name help with that. So I was kind of skeptical of this deck, but I won my next three matches, ending the day at 3-1 with this deck. So my friends were right. So that's the build that I'm going to play against my daughter. And I guess, after saying all that, I do have one kind of general piece of advice for anyone going to play Magic, which is, try and make some friends. I found the Magic community to generally be quite kind, willing to help out. And, being able to talk through your ideas with someone else, even if you don't agree with what they say, even if you if you listen to their ideas and decide not to follow them, just kind of getting a different perspective is something that I think is always very valuable. That being said, don't force yourself into a group if you think that group is going to be toxic towards you. That's definitely not worth it. But like I said, the people I've met playing Magic have generally been quite very, very nice people. So if you guys watching haven't made a bunch of Magic friends, I suggest that you go ahead and do that. Well, that's it for my deck build. I hope you watch my daughters and then watch the game we play. Thank you very much.